G'day! In this lesson we will create the author's user interface using MVC and Razer pages so that we can manage the authors. Let's create a new Razer page, index.cshtml, under the pages/authors folder of the web project and change the contents with the following code. This is a simple page similar to the books page we created before. It imports a JavaScript file, so let's create an index.js file and replace its contents with the following code. The code in the index.js creates a data table with actions, name, and birth date columns. Actions column are used to add, edit, and delete actions. Birth date provides a render function to format the date value using the Luxon library. We use the ABP.modal manager to open, create, and edit modal forms. This code is very similar to the books page we created before, so we will not explain it more. However, if you have any questions, please use the comments section on this page to discuss your questions. The authors page uses some localization keys we need to declare. So we open the en.json file under the localization/bookstore folder of the domain.shared project and add the following entries. Notice that we have added more keys. These will be used in the next sections. Let's open the bookstore menu contributor.cs in the menus folder of the acme.bookstore.web project and add the following code to the end of the configure main menu async method. Let's run the application. Let's go to the identity, then the roles page, click on the actions button, and select permissions action for the admin role. You'll see that the author management permissions have already been granted to the admin role. This is because we ran the DB migrator to seed the data in our database in the data integrations lesson, and the DB migrator has automatically given the admin role the author permissions. Let's navigate to the authors page and we can see the authors in the data table. We will now implement the create, edit, and delete functionality so that we can manage the authors. Let's create a new Razer page and name it createmodal.cshtml and replace its contents with the following code. We used dynamic forms of the ABP framework for the books page before. We could use the same approach here, but what we'll do is we'll do it manually. Actually, not so manually, because we will use the ABP-import tag helper, in this case to simplify creating the form elements. You can most definitely use the standard Bootstrap HTML structure, but it requires to write a lot of code. The ABP-import automatically adds validation, localization, and other elements based on the data type. Let's open the code behind of the createmodal.cshtml and replace its contents with the following code. The page model class simply injects and uses the iAuthor app service to create a new author. The main difference between the book creation model class is that this one is declaring a new class, createAuthorViewModel, for the view model instead of reusing the createAuthorDTO. The main reason for this decision is to show you how to use different model class inside the page. In addition, there is one more benefit. We added two attributes to the class members, which are not present in the createAuthorDTO. We've added the datatype.date attribute to the birth date, which shows the data picker on the UI for this property. We've also added text area attribute to the short bio, which shows a multi-line text area instead of a standard text box. In this way, you can specialize the view model class based on the UI requirements without touching the DTO. As a result of this decision, we have used Object Mapper to map createAuthorViewModel to createAuthorDTO. To be able to do the mapping, we will open the Bookstore Web AutoMapper profile class and add the mapping code to the constructor with the following code. Let's run the application and use the author button to create a new author using the create modal. Let's create a new Razer page now. Edit modal.cshtml under the pages/authors folder of the web project and change the contents of the file with the following code. Let's open the code behind of the edit modal.cshtml and replace its contents with the following code. This class is similar to the create modal.cshtml.cs. However, there are some main differences as follows. We use the iAuthorAppService.getAsync method to get the editing author from the application layer. Edit Author View Model has an additional ID property which is marked with the hidden input attribute that creates a hidden input for this property. This class also requires to add 2 object mapping declarations to the Bookstore Web Automapper profile class. Let's open the Bookstore Web Automapper profile class and add the new mappings to map an author DTO to edit author view model and map the edit author view model to the update author DTO. Let's run the application. Let's try and edit and delete an author to see if it works as expected. In this lesson, we implemented the user interface for authors. Join me in the next lesson to configure the book to author relation.